Well, and thank you, everyone. I'm going to see a victory. Church, I'm going to see a victory. How about you? So are you. This morning we find ourselves in 2 Kings chapter 6. What chapter did we read last week? Chapter 7, correct. And today I want somebody to help me read here. I need a good reader. We have just a few verses to read. Less than 20. How does that sound? Yeah. So can I have a volunteer, before I pick a name, to volunteer to read 2 Kings chapter 6, verses 8 through 23. Can I get a volunteer? Somebody. I see a hand. Where do I see a hand? Okay, hi Jeannie. Thank you, Jeannie.
You have it up there?
I have it up here, yes. It looks scarier than it is.
Now the king of Aram was at war with Israel. After conferring with his officers, he said, I will set up my camp in such and such a place. The man of God sent word to the king of Israel, beware of passing that place, because the Arameans are going down there. So the king of Israel checked on the place indicated by the man of God. Time and again Elisha warned the king, so that he was on his guard in such places. This enraged the king of Aram. He summoned his officers and demanded of them, tell me, which of us is on the side of the king of Israel? None of us, my lord the king, said one of his officers. But Elisha the prophet, who is in Israel, tells the king of Israel the very words you speak in your bedroom. Go find out where he is, the king ordered, so I can send men and capture him. The report came back, he is in Dothan. Then he sent horses and chariots and a strong force there. They went by night and surrounded the city. When the servant of the man of God got up and went out early the next morning, an army with horses and chariots had surrounded the city. Oh no, my lord, what shall we do? The servant asked. Don't be afraid, the prophet answered. Those who are with us are more than those who are with them. And Elisha prayed, open his eyes, Lord, so that he may see. Then the Lord opened the servant's eyes, and he looked and saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. As the enemy came down toward him, Elisha prayed to the Lord, strike this army with blindness. So he struck them with blindness, as Elisha had asked. Elisha told them, this is not the road, and this is not the city. Follow me, and I will lead you to the land you are looking for. And he led them to Samaria. After they entered the city, Elisha said, Lord, open the eyes of these men so they can see. Then the Lord opened their eyes, and they looked, and there they were inside Samaria. When the king of Israel saw them, he asked Elisha, shall I kill them, my father? Shall I kill them? Do not kill them, he answered. Would you kill those you have captured with your own sword or bow? Set food and water before them so that they may eat and drink, and then go back to their master. So he prepared a great feast for them, and after they had finished eating and drinking, he sent them away, and they returned to their master. So the bands from Aram stopped raiding Israel's territory.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This year I'm hoping that more of you would be excited to read the Word of God from the pulpit. It's not always easy, especially staring at some of the faces here. See, now everybody's smiling. There we go. But it is important to be able to share the Word of God from here, because when you're out there, it's a lot tougher. So that's one reason why I want to ask. This year, be ready to read. It's already prepared for you. The Word of God has been written. You don't have to worry about coming up with something new. The Word of God is written. It is in my notes. Proclaim it. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. So church, I'm going to see a victory.
And so am I.
All right. Now, did we see a victory in this story that we just read? Amen? Good. Now, see, we're going to go back to verse 8 through 10. So as I'm speaking, if you could just scroll through it, Dan, I'd be greatly appreciated. God sends his prophets, men and women. Prophets are men and women. We have a man in this story. His name is, what is his name? Elisha. Do you remember how I remember Elijah? Jockey before shop. That's it? See, in Russian it's a lot harder because they're two different names. Well, the way they translate it. Ilya and Yelisei, so totally different. But God sends his prophets. And you know one thing? God is not disturbed if you check the prophets. Verse number 10. If you could put that up for me, please. So the king of Israel checked on the place indicated by the man of God. See, God is not afraid of you checking the word that God has given to you. Sometimes we get a word and it's so bold, we say, God, is that you for real? God, can you say this? Can it really be you? Yes. So it's okay to check the words, the prophecies that you get from God. And I don't care if it's a word about healing, I don't care if it's a word about deliverance, if it's a word about something you need to do, you can always check the words of God. God is not diminished. God is not afraid of your doubts. God is not afraid of you checking what he is saying to you through the prophets. The only problem with verse 11 is the enemy gets upset. So what? I'm going to say this again. The enemy gets upset. So what? He's the enemy, right? Do we care about what the enemy thinks about us?
No.
Anybody care what the enemy thinks about them?
No.
Well, see, here in the Bible says, let's read verse 11 together. This enraged the king of Aram. In some of your translations, you will see the king of Syria. The same Syria that's upset with us today. The king of Syria was upset. So what? Big deal. If God said it, whether I believe it, whether the enemy cares about it, it's true. Amen? Remember, if God said it, it's true. It settles it. Whether you believe it or not, we love that saying, if God said it, I believed it, then it's true. Or that settles it. If God said it, it's true. Period. I don't care who believes it, who doesn't believe it. God said it, amen. This enrages the enemy. The enemy doesn't like for everybody who's listening, for everybody that's watching. The enemy hates when you hear the voice of God. So what? Can I have you turn to your neighbor and say, so what? Come on. Turn to your neighbor and say, so what?
So what?
The enemy is unhappy. So what? The enemy hates you anyways. So if they're enraged, so what? But the enemy is good at reminding us of something. Let's go to 2 Kings 6:13. The enemy says, no, I'm going to find you. I'm going to find you where you are, and I'm going to destroy you. So what? Come on, that's why, so what?
So what?
But the enemy is good at reminding us of things. Let's go to verse 13. Let's read together. So this is the enemy speaking. Go find out where he is, the king ordered, so I can send men and capture him. And the report came back. He is in Dothan. Anybody remember anything about Dothan? Neither did I. You're not the only ones, because it's only mentioned twice in the Bible. But something about that city broke my heart, and I went to investigate. Well, here, let's go together. Genesis 37, verse 17. See, the enemy is good at reminding us of those little things that shouldn't really matter. Because Dothan, none of you heard of Dothan, except for maybe Dothan, Alabama. None of you heard of this before. I didn't even hear about it either. Until the enemy brings up your past or your history. Genesis 37:17 says this. They have, this is talking about Joseph finding looking for his brothers, where his father sent him. Now, you know, our Father, Heavenly Father, sends us to find our brothers out in the world. You'll get this in a few minutes. Just remember, we're going to see a victory. Our Father in heaven sends us to find our lost brothers. Those brothers who are tending the Father's sheep even sometimes. Those brothers that are lost. And here we read that Joseph is looking to where they're supposed to be, and many times we look for our brothers and sisters and they're not where they're supposed to be. How many understand what I'm talking about? With their brothers and sisters, they're not where they're supposed to be. The enemy has moved them on, and they said they have moved on from here. The man answered, I have heard them say, let's go to Dothan. So Joseph went after his brothers and found them near Dothan. You know, Dothan is a place where vision seems to die. Dothan is a place that we really don't even think about until we think about it. Now, when I asked you a Vision 2020 this year to go and tell 20 people about Living Waters, about Jesus, what is the first thing that popped up in your head? I remember one time I shared with somebody and they rejected me. How many thought of that for anyone? Anybody? Am I the only one? Okay, somebody. Okay. See, the enemy automatically reminded you of the things that you failed with. The enemy is enraged. So what? The only thing is the enemy likes to put thoughts in our minds that we have failed in the past. You know, I had a dream the other day, and in my dream was that my iPad crashed. Right as I'm about to start preaching, my iPad crashed. Now, you know, I kind of memorized most of my sermons, but I still need to read a few things to keep going. And for those of you who are watching me, you see that I'm talking to you, and I remember most of my points, and I remember everything that I want to say. But sometimes I go on a tangent, and I'm like, where was I? Let me find my spot. And how many are like that? Right? I know all of us are like that. We're so easy to start walking and go, where was I going? So we need to go back. So in my dream, my iPad crashed, and it deleted all the data. That's a real possibility, by the way. So I woke up in a sweat. Because I was preaching in front of all of you, and my notes were gone. See, I usually print out a copy for either Dan or Neil or William to have in the back. So I can always run to them and pick up that copy. But in my dream, I never thought of that. Because the enemy always plays with your fears. The enemy brings up times when you failed. I'm not going to tell you about the time that I failed and why the dream came about. There was a time when I got out to say some stuff. It wasn't even a sermon. I just had to read some stuff that I could not see. Because I was scared. And the enemy is good at reminding you of those things that you're afraid of. See, our minds automatically recall everything bad that happened in the past. Most of the time when we're scared, we are good at remembering what? The bad that has happened in a very similar situation. And here Elisha was where? In Dothan. Dothan seems to be a place where visions die. As a matter of fact, when Jesus was walking on this earth, something similar happened. Well, let's go to John 1:46. When one of the apostles, Philip, to be exact, came to see Nathanael, and he said, Philip, we found the one. Except he's from Nazareth. And Nathanael says, Nazareth? Can anything good happen in Nazareth? See, the enemy is good at reminding us of all the failures we have seen or have experienced ourselves. The enemy is really good at that. Don't say amen, because we're talking about the enemy. God is greater, amen? So what happened in Dothan to Joseph? What happens to us when we recall things that have happened in the past? Let's recall what happened to Joseph. Let's do it together. We're not going to read this, but you can go home and read this. This is found in Genesis chapter 37. So when Joseph gets close, his brothers see him, and they say, you know what? Here comes the one that has the vision. Let's destroy his vision. So they strip him. They throw him in a pit. And I'm combining a big story. You can do it when you get home in Genesis 37. And they sell him into slavery. His own blood, his own brothers destroy his vision in Dothan. Sometimes our roads that God has, or the vision of the road that God has given to us, is destroyed by a Dothan. Our vision is destroyed because we remember something that happened in the past. You know what Jesus says? As far as the east is from the west, what do you do? What do you do? As your sin is departed from you as far as the east is from the west. Your failure has been departed from you as far as the east is from the west. Your vision is here, and regardless of what happened in Dothan, whatever the memory that the enemy is bringing up, regardless of what it is, your past failure has been separated from you as far as the east is from the west. Do we have an exact point where the east is? See, mind you, God did not say as far as the north is from the south, because we have the North Pole and the South Pole. He said from the east to the west. See, the Bible was written before we knew the North Pole and the South Pole. But God knew, right? He's the creator, He made it, so He knows. See, He said as far as the north from the south, He said from the east from the west. How far is east? How far can you go east?
Keep going.
Keep going. How about west? Does it ever end? What's east of us? The ocean? Then we go to Europe. Then we go to China. Then we go to what's past China? Japan. And what do you get? You say we come back around the corner. We just keep going. And same thing to the west. We have west of us. New York State. We have Pennsylvania, Ohio. Anyways, don't test me on my map. But you know what I'm saying? We can go as far east, as far west as we want. Maybe whichever way, it doesn't matter. North is that way. So that makes west this way. See, I'll get it eventually. But as far as the east is from the west. Let me get my hand gestures correct. As far as the east is from the west, that's how far God has separated you from your failure. That's a good place to shout and say hallelujah and to clap, because the enemy reminds you of Dothan, and we clap for Dothan, we never clap for God for some reason. I don't know why that is. But when you're in Dothan, and the enemy finds you, how many know the enemy is looking for you? The enemy, you're on God's side, therefore you're the enemy of the enemy. You're on the side of God. You're on the side of God, so the enemy is after you. But don't let the enemy scare you. Because here's what happens. 2 Kings 6:14 and 15. Then he sent horses and chariots and strong force there. Where? Dothan. Why? Why would... Listen, we're only talking about the man of God, Elijah, and his servant. Why would the king send out... Let's read this together. 2 Kings 6:14. Then he sent horses and chariots and a strong force there. To fight, to take two people down? Seriously? How important did he think Elisha was? How important does the enemy think you are if he's taking all of his armies to go after you, or after you, or after you, or after you, or after me? How important are we if the enemy takes all of his armies to tackle you down? You know, I'm sure you've heard of this. How does it go? Higher levels, higher devils. You guys heard of this, right?
Yes.
You know, some of you heard, some of you didn't, right? So, you know why this is a really, really dumb thing to say? Because the higher levels, the higher protection. Who cares about the enemy? Why are we giving him a foothold? The higher you are in God's kingdom, now, we understand how the army works. Some of you served or have loved ones who served. And you know how the Army, Navy, Air Force, they have different levels, right? Who is most protected?
Captain.
The higher you go, the more protected you are. You know, the king of Syria, or one of the Syrians, here we're talking about Syria again, around is Syria. One of the kings of Syria has put a $10 million bounty on the head of our president.
Yep, I saw that.
Well, guess what? He's well protected. Our president isn't worried about the $10 million because he'll pay it off, whatever. But he doesn't need to because he is protected. And the more we pray for him, the more protected he is. And he is protected, in the spiritual world, he's protected in the physical world. The higher he is, or the higher you are, the more protected you are. So the higher levels, higher protection. Amen? But the enemy doesn't stop. See, the enemy, one of those Syrians, whether in here, in the Bible story, or in real life as we see it now, the $10 million bounty, they don't stop. You know why? Because they think they can take down one person that they don't like. See, the more we dive into the Word of God, the more God protects us. The more we understand what God is about, the more God protects us. The enemy tries to bring us back to Dothan and remind us of what others failed. You know what? You can't do it because that person tried and they failed. You can't do it because you tried and you failed. And the enemy is good at reminding you about your Dothan. 2 Kings 6:14 and 15. Let's read it again. Then he sent horses and chariots and a strong force there to take down two men, Elisha and his servant. They went by night. See, the enemy never works by day. It always works at night. When are you most scared? At night. When are you least expecting an attack? At night. Because the enemy likes the night. That's when the Bible says, work while there is still daylight. They went by night and surrounded the city. When the servant of the man of God got up and went out early the next morning, an army with horses and chariots had surrounded the city. Oh no, my lord! What shall we do? The servant asked. I don't know about you, but that speaks volumes to me. The enemy went at night and surrounded two men. Remember when Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane and they sent out a big army to get him? We just read there's nothing special about Nazareth, remember? We just read it, right? Why did the army come to gather Jesus? Why? Because the enemy is good at one thing, to scare you. Well, you can't really scare the Son of God. Call me crazy here, but you can't scare the maker of you, right? Can you scare? Listen, can you imagine the cake you just baked and it tries to attack you? Is anybody afraid of the cake? I'm just being really, facetious here. Are you afraid of that cake? Well, I am because of the calories, but that's a story. But are you afraid that it's going to devour you? You King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, our Jesus, our Savior, our Messiah, is surrounded in the Garden of Gethsemane by an army. He's not afraid. See, all the disciples fled because they were not after them. They were after the leader. Same thing in the story. The servant gets up in the morning and says, "Oh my goodness, what are we going to do?" Have you ever had that phone call by anybody? "Oh my God, I got a letter in the mail. I'm over, I'm done." Have you ever had a letter?
Oh, yeah.
Or a phone call rather?
Uh-huh.
Have you ever been the sender of that phone call? I would have been there, come on. Nobody else will. "I'm finished. I'm done. I'm afraid." See, that's what the enemy wants you to be, afraid. The enemy wants you to remember all the failures that you have, all the problems that you have, all the things that bother you and me. So as they're surrounded, do you see Elijah scared here? Do you see Elijah scared? Let's read verse 16. Come on. "Don't be afraid," the prophet answered. "Those who are with us are more than those who are with them." Elijah, hold on a second. I live, and all of us live in the physical world, and I can count how many people are here in the sanctuary, and all the people that went downstairs for the Sunday school. I can count. Can you? But Elijah says, "Don't be afraid. There are those who are with us are more than those who are with them." Elijah, am I missing something? The servant, see, the servant was scared when he saw the people outside, when he saw his master lose his mind and tell him there's more with us than more with them. He's like, "You lost a few marbles." But anyways, he says there's more with us. And the servant is like, "Sir," it's not in the Bible, I'm just telling you it's in there. He says, "Sir, there's something wrong with your vision. They're not with us, they're against us." So Elisha in verse 17 says, 2 Kings 6:17, "And Elisha prayed, 'Open his eyes, Lord, so that he may see.'" I'm praying right now, and I want you to look at your neighbor and say, "Lord, open his or her eyes." Go ahead, you turn to your neighbor. "Lord, open his eyes or her eyes." Lord, open. Now turn to yourself and say, "Lord, open my eyes." It's not about just your neighbor, it's about you too. Because, sometimes we like talking to our neighbors because they belong to us, But let's talk to ourselves. "Lord, open my eyes." Let's get personal. "Lord, open my eyes." See, sight and vision are different. How many know the difference between sight and vision? Come on, somebody. What's the difference between sight and vision? See, sight is limited to what you can see. All of us are limited in our sight to see who's around you. Now, vision is seeing the future possibilities. See, the prophet here, he's not only seeing with his physical eyes, he's seeing with his spiritual eyes. And we like to see what we see. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 60, verse 2. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 2. "See, darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness is over the people." That's Washington, D.C. But yeah, it's in your neighborhood. Verse 2 again. "See, darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness is over the peoples." Can anybody testify that that's their neighborhood? And isn't it scary? It is until you read the first verse. See, I went to verse 2 first to scare you. Let's go to verse 1. Come on, William, go to verse 1. "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Verse 2. See, darkness covers the earth. Who cares about darkness? See, the darkness is trying to scare you. That's what darkness does. It tries to scare you and you and you and you and me. Have anybody been ever scared?
Yep.
Come on. You're in church. Don't lie. Don't add another sin to your life. You got plenty. Me too. Arise, shine, for your light has come. You know, the darker it is, the better you can see the light.
Yep.
The other day I got a flashlight thing. It's a pretty powerful flashlight. And the darker it is, the brighter my flashlight seems. You know why? Because the darker it is, the better you can see the light. We were in the hot tub the other day, and I asked William to go get the flashlight because we heard some coyotes in the background. And as soon as I put the flashlight to the woods, for all of a sudden, all that howling stopped. I couldn't help it. Remember that, William? They were howling. They're pretty close. Not that I was afraid, but I do have children, and God has given us wisdom. So as soon as I shone the light into the woods, all the howling stopped. Let's read the Bible. This week, Washington, D.C., a dark cloud covered Washington, D.C. Amen? A very dark cloud covered Washington, D.C. But something supernatural happened. In the 47 years that the March of Life has been marching on Washington, D.C., in 47 years, your president, Donald J. Trump, was the first president to take part in it. For 47 years, not a single president dared to stand against Roe versus Wade. For 47 years, none of us, well, some of us, but very few of us, went to Washington, D.C. to stand for life. Can I hear just somebody say, I'm going to see a victory? I want to hear it louder. I'm going to see a victory. You know why?
Yes.
Isaiah 60, verse 1. Listen. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you.
Yes.
Verse 2. The darkness covers the earth, but the Lord rises upon you, and His glory appears upon you. The darker it gets, the lighter, or the brighter the light is. Arise, shine, verse 61. Arise, shine, for your light has come. Can I get a witness in here that says, arise and shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you, and you, and you, and you, and me?
Amen. Yes.
The darker it is, the lighter the light is, or the brighter the light is. See, the abortion statistics say that 1 in 4 women have an abortion. That's 25%. Let me stop right here and say, if anybody watching or everybody in this room, if you had an abortion, there is forgiveness. Jesus is alive. He forgives today. You don't need to live with shame. He forgives today. Not yesterday. He forgives today. Because He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He will forgive you. Nearly 1 million children are slaughtered or aborted each year. Nearly 1 million lives are lost to abortion. But Isaiah 61 says, arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. When the dark gets darker, the light is seen brighter. Can I tell you some good news? How many ready for good news about abortion? Since every year, since I didn't write down the statistic exactly when it started, but abortion has been falling 7% each year. God is opening up eyes and using you and me, to proclaim the good news.
Amen. Yes. Yes. Praise the Lord.
Amen.
He deserves the glory.
Amen. Yes.
We have a president who cares about life. We have many politicians who are willing to stand for life, and there's an election coming, let's get some more in, okay? That's all I'm saying. I don't care which party you vote for, vote for the one that doesn't stand with abortion. And you figure that out on your own. See, God can strike the enemy. 2 Kings 6:18. See, I'm going to say victory. I hope you're coming with me to see the victory.
Amen.
As the enemy came down toward him, see, Elijah has seen the enemy. Elijah has seen the enemy coming. The enemy is coming to get you, and you see the enemy coming. So what do you need to pray? Elijah prayed to the Lord, strike them of this army with blindness. So he struck them with blindness, as Elisha asked them. Now, if all of a sudden they're blind, wouldn't they say, "Oh, we can't see"? I don't see. It's not exactly translated correctly here. God fooled them. Let's just be honest here. God fooled them. They no longer saw Elisha. They no longer saw Dothan. They no longer saw what they're supposed to be doing. Lord, strike Washington, D.C., your enemy, with blindness. They did not see Elisha. They saw something else. We don't know what they saw, but because it's supernatural. See, we can talk about natural because we understand natural. But when we take our natural and add God to it, it's supernatural. Supernatural is you plus God. You plus God is how many? The majority. Doesn't matter what the other side has. You plus God is the majority. Verse 19 and 20. Elijah told them, "This is not the road, and this is not the city. Follow me, and I will lead you to the man you're looking for." And he led them to Samaria. Just in case some of you are wondering, Samaria and Dothan are 12 miles apart. It's pretty close. See, the king of Samaria did not come to rescue Elisha. And sometimes when the enemy is attacking you, you feel like you're all alone. But can I tell you, you will see a victory. 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 I will see a victory. You know why? You plus God is the majority.
Amen. Yes.
And the darker it gets, the brighter your light is.
Praise the Lord. Yes. Thank you, Lord.
Verse 20. After they entered the city, which city? Samaria. After they entered the city, Elisha said, "Lord, open the eyes of these men so they can see." Then the Lord opened their eyes, and they looked, and they were inside of Samaria. See, God can do supernatural things. He uses each and every single one of you and me to do His work for Him on the earth. God doesn't do anything without a human being. You need to be available. You need to be fearless. And you need to be on God's side. That's all you need to do. That's it. Simple. To see a victory, you need to be available. You need to be ready. And move with God. That's it. Simple. And so Elisha, brings them in the middle of the city. They're blinded. And he says, "God, open their eyes. Let them see the truth." Oh, I wish Washington, D.C. could see some truth. I wish some of these people who are on the wrong side of God would see the truth. And as we just pray that God strike Washington, D.C. with blindness, I pray God show them the truth. Can I say, have somebody say, God showed them the truth. Have them believe the truth. Amen. Verses 121 to 23, I don't understand fully. Maybe you can explain to me after church. And I love conversations after church. Let me tell you this. Let's read 21 to 23 all together. When the king of Israel saw them, he asked Elisha, "Shall I kill them, my father? Shall I kill them?" That's very like me. Like Peter. I love Peter. How many of you love Peter, right? Right with the sword, right? You know, they come in the Garden of Gethsemane to take Jesus, and Peter takes the sword and goes, and it goes in here. See, I'm not there yet. I don't know about you, but I'm not there yet. I'm with Peter for now, please, okay? Pray for me. And Elisha says the same words as Jesus says. "Do not kill them," he answered. Same thing with Jesus. He takes the ear, he says, "No, Peter, put that away. Stop playing with, with little twigs. Put that away." He takes the ear and he heals him, right? That's what Jesus did. Elijah says, "Would you kill those you have captured with your own sword or bow?" He says, "Those are for those that you go in the battle and you have prisoners of war. Would you kill prisoners of war?" They're the fatalities. Well, there's fatalities and there's prisoners. They're not fatalities. They're prisoners of war. Would you kill prisoners of war? I'm just translating to ours so we understand. "Set food and water before them, that they may eat and drink and go back." So he prepared a great feast for them. And after they had finished eating and drinking, he sent them away, and they returned to the master. So the bands of Aram stopped raiding Israel's territory. Church, is victory possible? Is victory possible? Yes. Absolutely. I'm going to see a victory. Will you?
Yeah.
Will you?
Yes.
Will you? I'm going to see a victory. Will you?
Yes.
See, we love to talk about things. We don't have to do them, but we like to talk about things. Amen? We love to talk about things. And the more we talk about it, the less we do. It's just who we are. Anybody different than what I just described here? We like to talk about it and never do anything about it. But victory is possible. In Psalm 23, William, all of 23, please. I made a mistake there. Psalm 23. You got it, William? All of 23, 1 through 5, please. Or 1 through 6, but. "The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right path for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemy. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely your goodness and your love will follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." We love this psalm, right? Most of us at least have part of it memorized. Now some of us have all of it memorized. Right, Dan? And Carolyn? Absolutely. "The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. I shall not want." King James. Amen? Why is the Lord your shepherd if the first sign of Dothan and we're running away scared? When the enemy reminds us of our failures, we don't go to here and say, "The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters." Excuse me. "He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right path for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkness of the valley, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. How come we don't go here, we go to Dothan? Isn't that true? Am I making this up? Or am I talking about me here? Whenever the enemy brings up, we start sweating, bullets, right? That's what we say, right? We start sweating, we can start worrying. Oh God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? When all we need to do is say, Lord, open my eyes. We want to see Jesus. Church, I'm going to see a victory, will you? I want you to proclaim, I want to see a victory. I'm going to see a victory. I want you to proclaim this, I'm going to see a victory, not because I deserve it, not because I'm so good, because I've been to Dothan more than once. I know about all my failures, not because of my failures, but because of His goodness. I'm going to see a victory, will you? Can we stand, please?
In the name of Jesus, thank you, Lord.
Church, I'm going to see a victory. I want you to be victorious. I'm going to see a victory. I want you victorious. I'm going to see victory. I want you to see victorious.
We are in victory.
Amen. We fight from victory.
Amen.
We don't fight from a losing end. We fight from victory. And we fight in victory. Church, I'm going to see victory. I want you to see a victory. Amen.
We are in
If somebody this morning needs to see that victory, the altar is open. Because God is in this place. God is moving in your heart. God is moving in your heart and you are in your heart. I'm going to see a victory, church. I'm going to see a victory. Will you see a victory with me?
Yes.
Don't go to Dothan. Don't let Dothan remind you of something bad that happened in your life. Don't let Dothan remind you of a failure in your life. Let Dothan remind you of the goodness of God.
Thank you, Lord.
The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. The Bible says, if anybody lacks wisdom, what should we do? Ask. If anybody needs understanding, what do we do? Ask. If you need something, ask. He's there for you. Church, I'm going to see a victory. Will you play this song, please? I'm going to see a victory, guys. Church, I'm going to see a victory. The altar is open.